Well, Neil Mcdonald, in after just 2 days or less than 2 days. Tell us about Fastnet 2013. How was it from the start?
Terrific, yeah. Really no big surprises. We'd done a lot of homework on the weather. Sid had spent a lot of time on it and looked at a lot of different models and was in very clear mind how to approach it, and really it played out like the book said. And they were good conditions for us. Flattish water most of the time, not too strong a wind, but enough to get going. The only thing that obviously would have been better is we weren't on the wind. That's a slow process in terms of getting to where you wanted to go. But nice sailing. We had a little bit of rain here and there, but nothing unpleasant. And then from the Fastnet home last night, beautiful breeze and sunny blue skies. Couldn't be better.
You managed to hang on to a boat almost twice your size for quite a considerable time. How was that?
Exciting. I mean, it was nice to have something to aim for, and we knew they were quick at both the big boats. We'd sailed against both of them, well, one of them before, and it was clear that they were going to be faster. And really, it was just a question of doing what we could to stay near them. And it turned out better than we hoped. Woke up this time yesterday. We weren't aware, we hadn't spent any energy looking for them, but as daylight came, we could see them just below us. So pretty pleasing.
You did pretty well against the other Mod 70. I mean, you didn't really see them, did you?
Yes, to be fair though, those guys had a hard time. Two up, I mean, they're not designed for two up sailing, and there were a lot of times when sailing with two people would have been not impossible, but very, very hard work. Getting out the Solent, we did, I counted them, 29 tacks. And each one for a fully crewed boat is hard work. For two people, it must have been a hellish few hours. So I'd take my hat off for them to get out there at all and do it. So we weren't too surprised, and they shouldn't by any means be disappointed. But with two people, they're hard work, big boats.
It was it must have been great to finally get to the windward mark, as it were, the Fastnet Rock on this occasion, and bear away for that spreader mark, because you certainly sped up then.
Yeah, it was lovely conditions. By then we had between 18 and 20 knots from the west, and we went round the Fastnet, tacked onto starboard, and had that reach across the spreader mark, and we just took off like a hairy old goat. We're doing like 29 to 32 knots all the way across there. Then we got to the turning mark, bore away, Jenica up, and plain sailing downwind. I think it only took us like 6 hours to get to the Scillies. It was a fast ride.
How does it compare with the monohulls that you've sailed? I mean, I know you've done multihulls a lot, but how does it compare as a Fastnet race?
In some ways easy, because you know the end's in sight, so you can put in a bit more energy knowing that you've only got to do it for 2 days. So we were fully aware that we'd be finished in a couple of days, so you can clearly put a mark to how long you've got to work at it, and that's a nice thing. But they are tricky. There's always an unnerving part to multi-hulls. You know, you can't just switch off at any stage. Even in the light winds we had, capsize isn't out of the question. They really are boats you have to be careful of. But this one in particular, we had a great team. The boat was well prepared. The guys had been, not myself, but the guys had been in Cowes for a week before, getting the boat ready and doing some practice. We had one or 2 days together as a team. But it was a really nice way to end the season, because that will be the last race that Oman Air does this year as a crewed boat. So for me in particular, it was nice to end on a great note.
And you're making the women work. Dee was on the pedestal, winching.
To be perfectly honest, I think Dee probably did more winching than anybody this trip. So she was a great asset. We lost our normal winch boys, the big lads. They're out busy doing other things. So yes, Dee was a great stand-in for them, and I'm sure her shoulders will be telling her that she was doing a good job for the rest of the week. So no, that was nice too.
And how about your Omani girl, the first ever Omani sailor, to a girl sailor to take part in the Fastnet?
Well, it's wonderful. I didn't know that until this morning, to be honest. So that's a nice thing. But it was good, really good, because I think it would have been an eye-opener. I think she was a little nervous, but by the end of it, she was enjoying it and happy.
And finally, when you're sailing back in here to finish on the second night, that's all, just two nights at sea, you must have been sailing past boats already heading for the Fastnet.
We were literally dodging them, and quite interestingly, with the AIS now, you can see how fast people are going, and they're all averaging about 6 knots. So they've got a long race. They've got a hard slog all the way out there, wind or no wind, they'll be on the wind, I'm sure. And you kind of feel for them, but it's an adventure for them. For us, it's a 2-day sprint, and for them, it's a proper offshore.